Oh, I'm Dynast Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Dynast Amir. I'm out.
Oh, let me get the camera together. Hold on, let me get the camera together. There we go. There we go. Oh, no. Hold on. There we go. Peace, everyone. I hope all is well. I hope your Monday. I hope your Monday is going well. Do me a favor, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe to the content. It really means a lot. We are heading to Sierra Leone in 2 days, and I am looking forward to it. I cannot wait to get back to Salone. We are headed there in 2 days. We're going to have an awesome time. We're going to have a beautiful trip. We got to have around taking 17 people, 13 of which are going to be getting their Sierra Leonean citizenship. So I just want to formally and publicly thank, everyone who is using Donfo to facilitate their citizenship process. It really means a lot. I cannot wait. So with that being said, hopefully there is another ceremony in November. If you guys don't know, there's an election coming up in Sierra Leone in June. So we have to see how that plays out before, I guess any announcements are made for a ceremony in November. But trust me, for sure, Matabio wins. The day he wins, I will be posting the tentative dates for the next ceremony coming up November, December, because I'm 100% sure that if Matabio wins, am I plugged in? Yeah, I'm plugged in. I'm 100% sure that if Matabio wins, that there will be another ceremony. So looking forward to that. We'll find out here shortly. And even outside of that, I've been told that even if he doesn't win, let's go up. Even if he doesn't win, that maybe the new president will continue the citizenship process. So what do you need? Dynast, how do I become eligible for citizenship? Take this right here, African ancestry DNA test. Again, African ancestry DNA test. Results come back Sierra Leone. You are eligible for citizenship. Once you get that, hit me up. Go to Donfo. That's DANFO.Africa. Go to Donfo. That's DANFO.Africa. And I would facilitate the process for you. With that being said, Don Fort out Africa. Other tours, other countries that we are traveling to. So, number one, we are going to Senegal. We are going to Senegal in May for the Jazz Festival. Again, we are going to Senegal in May for the Jazz Festival, May 21st to the 30th. We got a couple spots remaining. If you want to come enroll to the Jazz Festival and do the stank leg in whatchamacallit, in Senegal, you want to come over there and do the stank leg, you are more than welcome to come and do the stank leg. Come on over and do the stank leg in Senegal. Go to donfo.africa to learn more. And then we're rolling to Nigeria in May. Again, Nigeria in May for the Oshun Festival. Again, Nigeria in May for the Oshun Festival, August 6th through the 15th. August 6th through the 15th. Love to have you. Come and join us in Nigeria for the Oshun Festival. Go to donfo.africa to learn more. Without further ado, let's jump into tonight's topic. I'll speak on a topic for about 10 to 15 minutes, give my opinion, take a commercial break, and then we're going to take a couple callers. We won't be here long because I need to start packing and cleaning because I don't want to come home to a dirty house. So I need to start packing and cleaning some. I'm for the most part almost completely packed, but I hate doing stuff last minute. So, I want to be able to get up on Wednesday morning and go catch my flight to New York instead of scrambling like I usually do. Because I got to get my hair cut tomorrow. What else I got to do tomorrow? I got to get my hair cut tomorrow. I need to, what else I got to do? Do some other stuff, run some errands. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff knocked out. So without further ado, so there's on the thumbnail pic is a picture of Booker T. Washington. And shout out to Tyreen Wright. In fact, let me grab her. Let me see. I got her book in here. Let me grab her book real quick. Oh, here we go. Here's the book. Booker T. Washington in Africa, The Making of a Pan-Africanist by Tyreen Wright. Right. And so this book, this is an excellent book on Booker T. Washington. And in this book, she talks about how Booker T. Washington implemented the Tuskegee method. The Tuskegee method is a program that Booker T. Washington instituted. No, that's not the correct word. Implemented. I'm just making up words. Implemented, in which he would invite over Africans from the continent to Tuskegee to learn. And he had a program that he would teach them how to properly, Tuskegee's an agricultural school, so how to properly raise crops and whatnot. Under the condition that, listen, you come over, you develop the skills, you learn the skills, but you go back and take those skills and develop your country. Again, the Tuskegee method, which is discussed here in Tyreen Wright's book. Shout out to Tyreen Wright, Booker T. Washington in Africa, The Making of a Pan-Africanist. You come to Tuskegee for this program. Here we go. The Tuskegee model. I'm sorry, I said method. It's the Tuskegee model. Here we go. Mr. Washington is not training Negroes to take their place in any industrial system of the South in which the white man directs or controls him. He is not training his students to be servants and come at the beck and call of any man. He is training them all to be masters of men, to be independent own and operate their own industries, to plant their own fields, buy and sell their own goods, and in every shape and form, destroy the last vestige of dependence on the white man for anything. Every pupil who passes through Mr. Washington's hands ceases forever to work under a white man. Not only so, but he goes forth trained as an evangelist to preach the doctrine of separation and independence. So again, Africans will come to Tuskegee, develop these skills under the condition that they will go back to Africa and develop their countries. Now, the question is, because, I hear this argument from ADOS and FBA, when immigrants come over here, they don't partner with us. They partner with white supremacy. They're tethers. I keep hearing all of this from, so-called FBA, ADOS. So in 2023, my question for the Black Americans who get upset at African immigrants for taking advantage of opportunities here that I guess are given by the white man, that's their argument. What institutions are in place, like the Tuskegee model, in which African Americans are reaching out to African immigrants, teaching them, helping them develop the skills. The Tuskegee model, correct? Teaching them and helping them develop their skills in order to go back to Africa and build. In 2023, that's my question. What institutions are in place? So an African immigrant comes here to America. What institutions, Black institutions, are in place that have extended a hand to them over in Africa and said, hey, come here. We're going to teach you the skills. We're going to get you right so you could be in a position to go back to Africa and build. That's my question. Now, you have YALI, but that's a government. It's a Young African Leaders Initiative, I think is what it's called. But that's more of a government initiative. What extensive programs or training do in 2023 that of an African Black immigrant is like, listen, I want to come to America. Let me call this phone number to this Black institution and they're going to get me right. So I could go back, so I could go over there, learn, and then the skills I develop, I could go back and take back to Africa. That's my question. But guys, get this book. This is an excellent book. So I keep hearing this, they're tethers, they're doing that, they're doing the other. Okay, but what institutions are in place? That's the question. So listen, I'm going to put the link in the chat room. You're more than welcome to call in, and we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Learn the ins and outs of IT and launch your IT career in just a matter of weeks with the help of Lifting the Veil IT Academy.
I took Lifting the Veil Academy with subs. Took a while, but I'm here. I made it. I'm now an SSRS developer. I started on the 13th, making a rate of $48 an hour.
Sign up for a free consultation and see where this industry could take you.
To learn more, go to www.ltvacademy.com. That's www.ltvacademy.com.
Learn the
We can all benefit from proverbs from our elders. Africa is the birthplace of human civilization and home to some of the most ancient wisdom on the planet. The continent of Africa is an extremely culturally rich region and home to over 2,000 languages, 3,000 ethnic groups, and numerous belief systems. The Book of African Proverbs and Wisdom, Volume 1, from author J.P. Martin, available on Amazon, is a compilation of over 100 ancient proverbs and words of wisdom from the continent of Africa. This must-read book provides a diverse and expansive collection of timeless, wise sayings and knowledge which have been collected from every region of Africa. This book is perfect for anyone interested in learning more about the African culture and expanding their knowledge of human experience. Order your copy right now on Amazon. The Book of African Proverbs and Wisdom, Volume 1, from author J.P. Martin. Go to Amazon.com and get your copy today.
All right, Lou, go ahead.
Why are you afraid to talk about Lou Major, you fucking bum?
What?
Why are you afraid to talk about Lou Major and all his scamming, you bum?
Okay. All right. All right. Who's next? We got some trolls on here. Let's see who's next. All right, link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Yeah, that's funny. We got some trolls. All right, links in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Let him stay for what? Let him stay for what? Alan, call in, Alan. Call in, Alan. No, so Jonathan, you said in the in your, he said Africa does not offer Black Americans programs. Why would our people be expected to offer them programs? No, I mean, we don't have to offer anything. But again, the complaint is that, you know, when immigrants come over, they're not partnering with Black Americans, and they're not they're tethers, they're immigrant tethers, and the white people, and they partner with white supremacy. So the Black Americans are the ones doing the complaining. So my thing is, what institutions are in place? What programs or institutions do Black Americans have in place so that these so-called tethers won't have to tether? That's my question. Because certain groups are they're undermining us and all this other stuff. So I just want to know, what programs, as a and maybe there's some immigrants in the chat, like, were you told of any specific programs being offered by Black Americans that you could tap into when you came over to Africa? So you guys did, when you came over to America from Africa, so you guys wouldn't have to tether, in quotation marks, tether. So that's my question. Mr. Sandman, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you were saying what institutions do black people from the other countries have to get involved with when they come to the United States? I think they got We've got the NAACP. Excuse me. We have a variety of African American schooling institutions like HBCUs, historically black.
So ask me this, Mr. Sandman. So a black immigrant comes to America. How can they tap into what resources are available for them from the NAACP?
Well, I think it'll start by the networking. Once you get into those institutions, it'll be once you can network with African Americans that are already here in the states and get the getting connections with them network, then you can start businesses, open up. It's kind of like a fraternity. You know what I mean? Like if you were like a Phi Kappa, one of those Kappas, and you wanted a connection on the inside so that you can start a business like in Atlanta or start a business in another predominantly African American, town. You can once you network and make those connections and then build trust amongst each other, then you know what I'm saying. That's how the institutions can get built. I think it's just something that just someone has to get the ball rolling. You know what I mean? And step out there and test the water, see what happens of it. We live in a capitalist society, so
Mm-hmm.
it rewards people that's ambitious. And I don't see why African Americans can't. I mean, Africans and African Americans can't unite when immigrants come over here and try some ambitious business opportunities.
Okay. 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 All right. All right. Let's see here. Guys, links in the chat room. In pods. I'll be in Niger in yeah. E40 guy kicked out the game yesterday. Yeah, E40 got ejected. And listen, E40 gets so much. I grew up on E40. I'm from Sacramento. We grew up on E40. Like E40 might as well, be from Sac. We grew up on E40, Mac Dre. That's what we listened to in Sacramento. So, seeing him getting kicked out the game, that was like, man, why he get kicked out the game for? But yeah, man, like I said, I grew up on E40. Shout out to E40. Shout out to 40 Water. King, listen, if the guy, you can't sleep on the Kings and the Warriors. Again, you can't sleep on the Kings and the Warriors. So, Shay, do me a favor, turn your camera on so I can see who you are before I let you on. Then you can turn your camera back off. Shay, turn your camera on so I can see who you are first. Okay, she logged off. Yeah, she's probably trolling. I don't listen to Mozzie or CML Lavish. No, I don't. All right, guys. Links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. So you said the NAACP. You said HBCUs.
Yes, HBCUs, NAACP.
What can HBCUs do for an immigrant family when they come
I
over?
mean that it's already an institution in and of itself, and it's black, and being that an African who comes to the United States, who before he opens his mouth wouldn't look any different than any other black person who already live in the United States, it'd be easy for him to meld into that institution, and I don't know, try to attempt to make some type of connection. Let's say, like for instance, you have a travel agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say if I'm a black institution and I want to teach, African American studies or World African studies or diaspora studies, and I come to uh, HBCU and I offer, travel plans for the students that at these HBCUs that come to certain countries like Sierra Leone or Nigeria as part of a school trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many different, opportunities out there. It's like you just have to be creative and come up with ideas and see what comes of it. I mean, these HBCUs, they get funded billions of dollars by the government.
And come up with
So
ideas. Hey, you got feedback, Miriam.
I mean, these HBCUs.
Go ahead, Mr. Sandman.
Yeah, I'm saying these HBCUs, they get funded billions of dollars by the government for the institutions. I don't see why they can't branch out with other small businesses, whether it be Africans or African Americans, and start some type of collaboration to get something started. I think they just need to be presented with the right type of business mind, whether it be African or African American, to you know present them with opportunity.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, Miriam, and then you'll be the last caller, Miriam. Go ahead.
Hi, Dinus
Go
and
ahead.
Mr. Sandman. I just wanted to say that there is the NAACP because I think don't they cater more to, from what I hear from YouTubers, that they cater more to immigrants than African Americans, and that seems to be a problem.
No, that's trolling. They no, that no, not in the. I would go ahead, Miriam, but no, that's not. They're coming from a disingenuous um point of view, you know, as far as the people who complain about the NAACP, as far as um catering more to immigrants.
Oh, okay, okay, I don't know, but
Yeah,
I was gonna say if it is the NAACP, fine, but the truth of the matter is that we as a people, we need to take more control and not be in a position of we need a leader or we need some organization to guide us. We should be the ones telling the institutions what to do. I think that way we wouldn't be at the mercy of grifters. But anyway, I thought it was the NAACP, but I guess I'm wrong.
yeah. Let's see here, guys. Do me a favor, hit the like button again, please. Yeah, somebody. I'm not gonna read the whole statement, but how are you gonna use an argument you got from YouTubers? Yeah, I wouldn't listen to them. The people who are saying that. Let's see who else is in the chat room. If you want to call in, call in. If not, we'll go ahead and start closing out. Like I said, I got to get ready to go. I leave on Wednesday, so I still got some last minute stuff to do. So we'll take one more caller.
I have a quick question about your trips.
Go ahead.
Um, you seem so outgoing and everything. And what if someone who was like kind of an introvert wanted to go on those trips?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm patient. As far as you're dealing with a ton of different personalities, so you got to just be patient. But
Okay, like if there was someone who wasn't a big talker who wanted to
that's
come
fine.
on.
That's fine. That's fine. You can stay in your shell on the bus. It's okay.
Okay.
It's fine. No problem. Jay Boomer, do me a favor. Turn on the camera so I can see who you are first. Okay, got you. I'm about to let you. You can turn your camera off if you want to. I see you. I'm about to let you on. All right, Jay Boomer, go ahead.
Hey, yeah. So I think one of the biggest challenges we have is the African American community doesn't have its act together because we're still operating in a minimalized ability to produce for ourselves and relying on not all but some the government, liberals and Democrats. I think we do need some type of outreach program because I think there needs to be a reach across the pond, so to speak, to work with African countries and maybe develop business partnerships and things like that. That's kind of my position. I'm familiar with the Tuskegee model. I read Up from Slavery about Booker T. Washington's journey through Hampton into Tuskegee. And we don't have any institutions like that. HBCUs don't do that anymore. They just pretty much cookie cut what the PWIs do, primarily white institutions do. So there's really no originality anymore, if that makes sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. Mr. Sandman, what are your thoughts on what the elder just said?
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, I wasn't aware that HBCUs had a history of starting small businesses with African American communities, or even going across the pond to start businesses. When I think about what some of the PWIs or predominantly white institutions do, regularly they have programs where they take their students across the pond to European countries as part of their training programs to or they or what do you call it, not undergraduate, but when you go to get your masters and things of that nature, they have, like, say if you want to learn Spanish, they have you you know go to Spain for a year. They add all of that to their programs. I don't understand why they don't have a program in these HBCUs like African studies or Swahili studies or Yoruba languages studies. Add that to the curriculum, and then have some of the students maybe live in West African country or East Africa or even any of the sub-Saharan countries for a certain period of time, and add that to the curriculum. That's an easy way to network, have businesses. There's so many different things you can do. I think maybe these HBCUs and just African Americans and or Africans in general might not have the courage, or maybe they don't have the confidence in themselves to be able to try something, outreach out to go be to get out of their comfort zone and try something robust like that. But it has plenty of opportunity up. There's billions of there's over 1 billion black people in the entire world, and there's just a ton of opportunity there. So I don't know, all it takes is one of these institutions to get out of their shell and attempt to try something expansive like that.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to quickly chime in. So when I speak of the Tuskegee model, I don't, you all may be aware of the fact that Tuskegee University back in the 1800s, if you majored in education or liberal arts, not only did you have to go to those classes, but Tuskegee University, Tuskegee Institute at that time, was known for making some of the best bricks in the United States. So you might major in education to be a teacher. However, you would go to the brick factory where they made bricks for part of the day to learn the day-to-day labor that regular laborers do while learning your liberal arts skills. That's what I refer when I refer to the Tuskegee model. That's what I refer to. It's in Booker T. Washington's book, Up From Slavery, which I think should be mandatory reading for all of our young people.
Hey, good day.
Go ahead, Mashawn.
I'm a little disgusted with this, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, for one, from what I'm hearing, especially with HBCUs, that fundings are exhausted. Number two, Black America is not in the best of shape, and the youth aren't either. They need as much help as they could get right here in America. And that's why we're fighting so hard for reparations. Economically, our families have been depleted. Do you hear me? And this is the true story, and they know this. And another thing, Africa has gotten so much money from the United States, China, and this is what I don't understand. What happened to their institutions? Where are their institutions? What are the African leaders doing with that money? All these years, there has been doors open for Africans in the United States, and it's been with open arms through the years. And right now, that has to stop because our Black American youth, oh my goodness, it's like, it's horrible. It's heartbreaking, to tell you the truth. And I'm on the front line, so I see, I hear, and I read the reports. And I know what some of my own children has been through and other family members financially. So, and another thing, Dynas, you said, how can they get resources, educational resources, learn, and then go back home and teach them? And which I thought they was doing, but that's not happening. Nobody's going back home. That's another problem. They stay here. Nobody goes back to give back to their land and to their people.
Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, there's plenty of programs that African Americans supply. Namely, if you go to the HBCU, you're going to see people from Africa and from the Caribbean who are there, who are receiving educations. And I know somebody personally who actually did go back to Barbados, and she actually used a degree that she got from Morgan State University for a government job down there. So there are things that have been supplied from the from African Americans to people, and there are plenty of other government programs that are for immigrants, whether it be through businesses and things like that, that are helping them as they go through. But I think the problem is that, as the sister said before, that a lot of people are perceiving that they're not really seeing any benefit to that, and that their people are suffering. Our people here in the United States are suffering, but that a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of Black youth are not in a position to take advantage of all the things that are available here for them. At least that's what I'm perceiving and what I'm perceiving as I work in the schools. We have kids in Baltimore who just are not, aren't proficient enough in math to go on to the next level and take advantage of the things that are available here. And I don't think that's the Africans' fault or the Caribbean people's fault. I think that's just something that is an unfortunate reality of what's going on with our schools and everything else that's going on here in the United States.
You mean one person, one person who went back to Jamaica? Are you kidding me? To Barbados? That's one person.
But what I'm saying is there's
out
people
of thousands?
What I'm saying is there are a lot of people who do go back.
Okay, well, I don't know a lot of people. And when you talk to people from throughout the diaspora, that's not the story I'm hearing. And now you're saying that our youth here in this country is not in a position to take advantage of programs. But there's another story. There's a story to that. Even those who are in HBCUs and trying to get into HBCUs, they're saying that the funds are depleted because of others taking advantage of the programs that they're entitled to. They're not able to get connected to those resources.
Man, there's a degree of truth to that, but that's not the complete story. The complete story is that HBCUs have been historically underfunded. That is why the funds are depleted. It's not because somebody's over there taking their place. Now, when I said that the kids are not in a position to take advantage of that, I'm saying that there are kids who, and this is true across the board in the United States. We have the problem in America is we have some of the best universities to send kids to, but we have some of the poorest high schools and elementary schools that are not preparing kids to take advantage of the things that they can fully take advantage of. Whereas a lot of the foreign kids are coming with academic backgrounds that make them more proficient in math, make them more proficient in the sciences, make them more proficient in writing, that makes them more prepared. I can tell you that that's the case even in my own academic experience, because although my parents are from the West Indies, I grew up in New York. And when I went to college, I was not prepared. I had to fight like a dog to get myself in a position to actually do anything academically. So that is a problem in the United States, and regardless of race.
So okay, so okay, let's call them the diaspora, whether you're from Africa or Jamaican or Caribbean. When they come over here, are they poor diasporas or are they elite Africans?
Majority are poor, because I deal with a lot of Senegalese here. I mean, now I don't want to say poor, but they're not
rich.
They aren't rich, but they have that family unit. That's one thing I noticed when immigrants come over.
Mm-hmm.
They have a family.
Okay, so
And they have an
because you
academic
want your
background.
education, you
And
said
they
they
have an
have
academic background that
right.
allows them
Okay,
to be able to do the math and the sciences that allows them to go for it. Listen, man, I'm teaching here in Baltimore. We're not very proficient in math. That's just a matter of fact. If a kid comes out of Baltimore City schools, if they work hard, they'll be okay, but they're not going to be the most proficient in those areas, and that is a huge disadvantage.
so you're saying our schools, because that reflects the schools, and
Yes, it
everybody
does.
want to point fingers at each other, because you just said that the immigrants or the diaspora from Caribbean, Africa, that comes over to the United States are better prepared academically. So you're saying that their schools academically are preparing them?
I'm saying that there is a culture of there's that. Yes, the schools are preparing them a little better in those areas, and that there is also a culture of study. That is more predominant in those cultures, that's allowing them to do better. So it's a combination of things.
Because if that's the case, then they should be able to go to school in their own country. That's what none of us get. Where are the colleges there in campuses in Africa?
Well, I can't speak specifically to Africa. I can tell you in the Caribbean, there's the University of the West Indies, and maybe a few other opportunities. But if you don't, once you graduate and you take your exams, and after your age of 16, it's that there's not enough spots. The spots are more competitive. The one thing about America is that in America, if you want to go to college, you want to work hard, you can go to college. There's certain things that are in place in other countries where even if you have the academics and you want to go to college, you may not be able to go, depending on, because it's that competitive.
It's that competitive. So they need to do something over there, because it's really disgusting at this point. They had enough time in many years to make changes. They had monies. I'm talking about Africa now specifically. There was monies given to these leaders, and I don't get it. Why aren't they building for their own youth and community?
Well, they have colleges and universities over there, and there are more people who are staying over there, or many people are actually leaving, going over to China, to believe it or not, or some other places in Europe to go to school. I just think it's a misrepresentation to make it seem as if Black Americans aren't able to go to school, because that's just not the case. There's more opportunities here to go to school than pretty much any place else on the planet if you want to go to college.
Can I chime in real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 63 years old. My father picked cotton in my mother's family. My mother was the youngest of 16 children. They were sharecroppers. So I saw some things happen. I graduated from high school in 1977. Back then, we had a relatively strong family unit. We had a culture. We had Big Mama. We had family reunions. We knew our cousins. And we had respect and many other character traits that helped young people achieve. I work up in Aberdeen, and I'm very familiar with Baltimore. So I see the Baltimore news and the Philadelphia news. One of the most significant things that has happened in the past 40, 50 years is the disintegration of the Black family unit. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Africans coming from Africa to go to college, I don't think it has a significant impact on the education of Black people who want to go to college. I don't think they're bumping any Black students out of the opportunity to go to school, because not only do we have HBCUs, but we have the PWIs and we have community colleges. So I don't think the problem is with Africa or Africans coming from the continent over here. I think we have a major cultural problem, socioeconomic problem in the United States that has severely impacted the Black community.
Amen to that, brother.
But the access, there is an issue with access, financial access to education, because these colleges do, of course, they're going to charge.
I think that our most privileged and able young Black people that decide to go to college and study in these profound studies, they're tending to go to predominantly white institutions as opposed to HBCUs to bring up the prestige of the HBCU. You know, if I happen to be a young African American with a 4.0 grade point average and have the opportunity to go to Yale or MIT or a predominantly Black institution like Tuskegee or something, most likely in today's world, that young Black kid is going to, choose the predominantly white institution or the Ivy League institution, because he's going to believe that it's going to provide him and his family more opportunity for wealth. So, and then you have so that those are our young elites. They're either, extremely intelligent and they go to, these Ivy League institutions, or they extremely talented athletes and they still decide to go to a predominantly white institution. So, and bring up the prestige of the white institution because they think that it's going to present them with more opportunity for wealth than the HBCU would. So, until there's like a emphasis on retaining our young talent and having them work in predominantly Black institutions to help build up that economic, area, I think that the problem is going to persist. It's like a talent drain where our most gifted are helping, improve the status of white institutions instead of helping to help the status of Black institutions. And we see this in Africa as well, where some of the more privileged young Black kids, instead of staying in Africa, they'll go to school in Europe, or to decide to go to predominantly white institution here in the United States as well. I think that's kind of part of human nature, that sense of greed to obtain as much assets that you possibly can while you're here.
Yeah, that's been my experience. The people I know from Africa, I know a few people from Uganda. They weren't going to HBCUs. They were going to Cornell or someplace like that, or University of Wisconsin. A few of them went to. Those are the kind of schools that those people want to go to. And plus, I fully reject this idea that African American kids don't have access. Because if you are of a certain tax bracket, you can go to school for free in this country. I have students who are part of this 2+2 program we have, where kids are able to go to BCCC for free, and then after they finish the BCCC, then they can go to Coppin State for free. Plus, some of the lowest tuition that you can get are some of these HBCUs, especially like the school right next door to my high school, which is Coppin State. These kids are going to tuition only like $2,600 and stuff like that. It's not a lot. There's access and opportunities here in this country that that aren't anyplace else. When it comes to colleges, the problem is that we have um, um, secondary schools and middle schools and elementary schools that aren't preparing our kids, and they're oftentimes in a culture that's not academically driven. And so as a result, what they end up doing is they're not able to take advantage of some of these opportunities. We have to fix that, right? But that's a bigger problem than what somebody else is doing. We can't blame that on somebody else coming over and taking advantage of opportunities to better themselves. There are opportunities right here and programs in place. At least I can speak for in Baltimore City for young Black kids who want to go to college. If you want to go to college in the United States, you can go to college somewhere. Whereas when you're from other countries, college is not something that's automatic, something that you can automatically do. That's just not how it works in the rest of the world.
Now, this is to you because you said Baltimore City. Now, I know in a public advocate, she's a woman who speaks about HBCUs and the lack thereof of opportunities and she lives in Maryland, as a matter of fact, for students of Black American or ADOS descent. And she was also saying that in some of the schools, like they might have a program for like Haitian Americans and people of different African descent from Africa. Trying to be careful with so you can understand, because there's so many changes of identity. So, and she was saying that they will come, and I'm talking about people from African, Haiti, or whatever, the Caribbean, would go and apply for certain programs that were specifically for Black America or Black Americans, ADOS, and they were able to apply for the grants, the school grants for Haitians and Caribbean. So they were able to do both. But ADOS are not able to do both. So there's a mix-up and confusion there. And I wish she was heard this, she would be here today because she could really break it down and better explain it to you. And she's in Maryland.
Okay. Well, okay. So I can speak to the school that I'm in. Okay. All those kids, based on income alone, will have opportunities to go to whether they want to go to Morgan State, Bowie, Coppin, wherever, right? Or just go to BCCC, which is a local community college. Those are free opportunities that they all have, right? And there's plenty of help. Especially we have kids who are awarded the state. They're going to school for free, no matter where they're going. So what I'm saying to you is that yes, a kid who is from another country might be able to get another scholarship and then double back and get a scholarship that's meant for Black kids, right? But there's plenty of opportunities here to go to school. We cannot pretend that a lot of these kids are not going to school because there's some sort of discrimination coming from people from other countries. I just do not see that. I see kids who are whether it be the Latino kids from El Salvador in our school or the kids who are coming from Yemen in our school seem to be more determined to go, to be honest. And it even as ill prepared as some of them are, they have the mindset that they want to go to school and that university is something that's in their future. A lot of our kids, a lot of our young girls, unfortunately, they all have a dream of doing hair or they don't want to go to college and they just want to get out there and get a job, which is fine. But I'm not seeing this lack of access to especially the HBCUs, not in this state. I can tell you that. I don't see that. What I'm seeing is, some kids might feel intimidated by going to higher education. It may not be something that's emphasized in their home. And so not all of them taking advantage. I'm not saying none of them are. I'm saying that the kids from other places seem to value that more. And again, that's not a black white issue. I believe that's an American kid issue, where a lot of American kids are not taking advantage of opportunities that are right in front of them to go to school.
I have a question for you. Can you put in the chat a link to where all these opportunities exist for Black Americans, for ADOS in education?
No, because most of those programs are not going to say ADOS. they're going to be things for people of African descent. That the way they're categorized racially, right? And so you were correct when you said that a kid who is from, let's say, you said Haiti, right, could double back and kind of double dip, get something for being a foreign student, and then double back and get something designed for Black kids. That is correct. That does happen. I'm not going to lie to you, right? But I can tell you that in my school, if a kid wants to go to college, right, and if they're not academically intimidated and they're ready to go, we can send them someplace for free. I can tell you that with a great amount of certainty, because that is a program that has been instituted here in Baltimore and in the state of Maryland, where they can go to HBCUs specifically if they wanted to go to if the kid wanted to go to Coppin State, they can go to Coppin State. I'm gonna say it just like that.
Is this something that was done by a presidential administration? Like,
No.
I just want to know, how
No.
long has these programs been around?
It's been around for a while. That's been done locally. I think one of them was done by one of our mayors and the governor. You know, the Republican administrations have actually done a really good job of funding HBCUs here in the state of Maryland. And I know Maryland's unique. I don't want to represent that as the whole country. That would be disingenuous of me. But
so your programs have been around for what, 10 years, 20 years?
More than that. Yeah, about maybe about 20, I would say. Because I moved here in Baltimore. I've been here, I want to say about almost 15 years. It's been around as long as I've been around.
I'd like to chime in real quick. I think one thing we have to look at, and the gentleman from Baltimore made a great point. I'm originally from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And one of the things that we were able to do, not only in Dallas, but when I lived in Augusta, Georgia, what we did, we got the local high schools, community colleges, universities together, and we would have financial aid seminars and school access seminars. And we would bus the children from the high schools over to those seminars, because what we have to do is, a lot of the young folks don't know about these opportunities, nor do their parents. So we have to, at the grassroots level, we have to mobilize those organizations and get them in places like, for example, most public libraries have free meeting rooms. School districts have places, and colleges and universities have rooms where wherever you live, you find all of the HBCUs and colleges, universities, community colleges in that geographic footprint. Someone reaches out to them and schedule an academic day where they can bring in people who can talk about financial aid opportunities. So that way you can attack it from the grassroots level, because at the national level, you're correct. Donald Trump actually did fund HBCUs at a greater rate than anybody else, but that really doesn't do anything unless people at the grassroots level invite the young folks in so they can see, hey, Mr. Shields went to this HBCU, he graduated this day, he majored in this. You can do the same thing he did. We have to link the young people up with graduates and professionals so they can see that if I do my work and study hard and complete my academic work, I can go to this university and I can possibly become a CEO of a company or own my own business or something like that. I think we as adults owe that to our young people. And I think it has to happen at the grassroots level. I had a scholarship seminar when I attended a church in Augusta, Georgia. We brought in all the parents and the students, and we gave them a briefing. We showed them opportunities. We showed them how to fill out the application. A lot of young folks don't know how to fill out applications. That's one of the what they call soft skills. But many young people, not only because they don't have the experience. So I think I understand what the young lady is saying, and I'm saying that because I'm 65 or almost 65. We just have to bring them in and educate them because the opportunities are there. I went to college starting in 1977. It was hard to get money back then because everybody didn't go to college in the 70s. Even though they had grants and loans, it was hard to get in because it's not like it is today. We didn't have access to the community colleges and things like that. So our young people have opportunities, but I think we as adults and parents, uncles and aunts, mentors, we need to bring those opportunities to a location so that they can see them. Oh, all right. And that's my point.
Oh, that was good. I believe that. I think somewhere along the line, don't beat me up for this, but it's not like this everywhere. I feel that we dropped the ball a little. Maybe somewhere along the line, people got exhausted. I mean, so many things are going on, and it's a lot of confusion out there. Even though these programs and stuff exist, I'm looking at the stress on the youth and how so many need to go see mental illness. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of that now. So, I mean, there's a lot of burden and stress on them. I'm talking about here in the United States. I can't say what took place over there in Africa, but it's a lot of stress. But like you said, in the local area, somebody needs to, because at one point, many, many years ago, it was a little of that going on, like concern, like you said, the family, people got together in a community and said, look, this is what we have here. Take advantage of this programs, this grants. That's why I ask you, Baltimore, is there a link? Because I'm not seeing that now on the grassroots level. It seems like, I don't know, people just got so much into themselves and I feel like a little that the youth is being slighted. That's from what I see. So it could be different, but I have a question for Dynast. When the diaspora or the Africans or the immigrants or what have you come over to America and they get their education, those that go back, do they have something to go back to? Because that's also another issue here. Those who are educated here in America had a problem finding jobs.
Well, when they go back, they're not looking for jobs. They're going back to create jobs.
Okay, yeah, that sounds all good and Gucci. But when you create a job, you still need resources. Somebody has to invest somewhere along the line.
Right. So they're taking, what they've earned here or the skills that they learned here and taking it back to the continent.
Hey, did you see that chat from Tony Smith?
Yeah, my bad. Let me read it. And then we're going to close out.
Yeah,
we need to be talking about trades and tech training for Black boys and young men. When they only hear college discussions, they feel left out and turn to the street. Why are we still ignoring them?
Yeah. Hey, can I want to make a quick comment about that. So my cousin graduated from Booker T. Washington High School in Tuskegee, Alabama. So what they do, they have a valedictorian for liberal arts, but then they also had a valedictorian for vocational arts. So they actually had a track where you could become a carpenter, a bricklayer, you could do tech and those kind of things. And I agree 100% with what he said. I have two cousins that are retired electricians, and when they retired, they were making upwards of six figures. And I had students in my fifth grade class who they pretty much weren't going to go to college, but they were really good with their hands. And I think that's another aspect we do. I agree with Tony. We do need to kind of at least mention the fact that we do need skilled trades. And the U.S. Department of Labor actually has a apprenticeship program. They have a website where they do everything from shipbuilding to plumbing to even hair, and you can become an apprentice in those kind of skills. But yeah, I agree with Tony. Okay, I'm good.
That is an institutional failure of the American educational system, where we don't let kids know of all the opportunities they have in terms of different vocations and things they can do without college. We years ago they geared us to only tell kids they have to go to college. And what happened was the kids started getting this idea that if they don't go to college, and people think you're going to be a loser and you're not going to do anything. That is a major problem. And again, that's not racial. Right. That is an institutional issue across the board. White kids going through the same thing in terms of that. So that is a major problem. When you go to other countries, you see that that because the opportunities for college are so much less and it's so selective, that they have other tracks to send people on and put them in. And in America, that is not so. That is a failure on our part in the schools in America.
Yeah.
HBCUs are doing an excellent job. I didn't grow up with HBCUs in New York. We didn't have any, right? But when I came down here to Maryland, I started discovering what HBCUs are about. They're saving lives, okay? And they are providing opportunities and filling in the gap for Black kids to actually have an opportunity to go to school. And so our school has a special relationship because my school is literally across the street from Coppin State University. Okay. So these kids see a college every day, and so they're kids who are making decisions not to go for one reason or another. Some kids have already turned to street activity and stuff. Other kids don't see a way for don't know how to do that. We try to introduce it to them, and the school really works with us in order to do that. So it's actually a very specific relationship that a great school like Coppin State has with the Baltimore City School District, where if you want to go, you can. You can. It's just a matter of take advantage of it. But the kids I talk to who are taking advantage of the opportunity, who want to come to me, the little Muslim girl from Yemen, she want to go. The kid from Nigeria, she wants to go. She wants to do that because her parents are pushing her towards that, right? Whereas our kid or the kids from El Salvador and all these places are going to HBCUs, believe it or not, and getting minority scholarships to go, right? On top of that. So, I think there has to be, we have to address the fact that why aren't African-American kids being told about not just the opportunity, but I know I'm telling them you can go for free. And I see kids who look at me and scoff because they've been looking at that school across the street for 4 years and they don't want to go. But it's a free opportunity. It's frustrating.
That's good. They need to be encouraged. That's the issue. They need to be encouraged, and they need to be told, and they need to feel like they belong. So there's work to do for our youth, if anybody can. I'm talking about ADOS. It's a lot of work because it's a lot of sadness out there. And I'm saying anybody, not anybody, but somewhere along the line, we got to reach back. Somebody needs to be trained to reach back here on these grounds, because these grounds right now is in dire health. It's like a crisis from what I can see.
All right, guys, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.